Hey, it's Coach 2K with Coach2K.com. As part of my C2K Pacers My League Redux season, one of the things I'm doing is spending a little bit more time preparing and using some strategies to practice. In my last video, I talked about shooting practice and how to get used to shooting. In this one, I wanted to kind of work on some dribbling practice. So for this exercise, I'm going to put in my starting point guard for my first game, who is Donald Sloan, and do some drills with him. And as always, I have my camera angle on what I would use in the game, and I have the gameplay settings set to Hall of Fame Sim. So what you're going to find if you go to the controls screen is that there's a set of ISO motion moves that you can do, and the first one is the signature size up. So what I'm going to do with my guys that are going to be around the perimeter is practice with these guys doing these moves to get comfortable with them. So here's Sloan, and out on top, the signature size up is just basically just push forward on the right stick. Now, before I get into my dribbling tutorial, I want to let you guys know that when I play the game, I'm not going to be a guy that's going to ISO motion you to death and spread the floor and try and beat you off the dribble. I'm not really that kind of player. In fact, my game has some limitations in that I don't do enough getting dribble penetration because I don't do a lot of that kind of stuff. But I play some guys that are really pretty good with ISO motion, and it's kind of cool to watch what some of those guys can do. And the reason they're good at it is because they can beat you off the dribble. But my team really isn't. We don't have a dominant point guard that's really going to beat you off the dribble, but there are going to be situations where it's going to be kind of important. So one thing that I wanted to talk about, I'm not sure where I learned this from Czar, who I learned it from, but when you're out here and you're waiting on a play to develop, typically one thing you can do is move your guy kind of back and forth to keep the defense kind of on their toes a little bit. A lot of times I'll just kind of stand here waiting, and that gives the defense the opportunity to see what's going on behind the scenes here. And most of the people you play, they're not stupid. I mean, they've seen a lot of the plays that you probably will use. So it's a good idea to kind of keep them on their toes by doing something out here. And depending on who the point guard is, if you've got a really good point guard that can steal the ball, you obviously got to protect the ball. So if he's on this side, you're going to want to keep the ball on this side. Sometimes you're going to hit triangle and kind of keep the ball away. And I know some guys that use triangle quite a bit. Now, on-ball steals, I haven't played a lot of quick match lately, but they don't seem to be as much of a problem as they used to be. So with that being said, obviously, you need to know how to move around, left and right with your dribbler, and with absolute settings, which is what I've got this set on. It's pretty much as you see it. The up is towards the basket, left is to the left, right is to the right, and back is to the back. All right, so the first ISO motion move I want to work with on Sloan is the size up. So if I'm dribbling the ball and I push up on the stick, he'll do a size up. So from a size up, you could launch into another move. So what you'll have to get to learn how to do, and I need to learn how to do this better too, is when the defense does react, make them pay for moving. So you could do a size up and then do a pull up. So just as an option. So the nice thing about just knowing the size up is there, if you haven't done a lot of ISO motion movement, like I'm a good example of that, just adding a size up to your arsenal of moves is pretty simple to do. So what I would kind of get in the habit of doing is, to get used to seeing what the defense does, is to use the size up move just to see what happens. And if you're late in the shot clock and you're dribbling the ball and you want to do a size up to try and create some space, you might be able to do that. Alright, so that's the size up. So what I would do in my practice mode is just go through each of these. So this is the in and out, R2 plus move R toward the hoop and then quickly release. So to me, the in and out move would be best used when you are already quickly trying to get up court, because you're using the R2. Usually you're sprinting up court on the break, trying to get to the rim. While you could use the in and out move, and people probably do it kind of in a half court situation, it might make more sense that this could be something that you would use while you're on the break trying to get down court. Okay, so I'm going to remember how to do that. Alright, so it's the size up move with the R2 modifier. So if you're coming down court and you're sprinting down court and you use the in and out move, you can use that and launch out of it to get past a defender. If it's a CPU defender, it's probably pretty unlikely you're going to get by that guy. Alright, so a good idea is to work on some in and out moves, just to throw your defender off. And in the half court setting, you can see how it triggers. And it kind of appears that the in and out move from a standing dribble might provide you an advantage. Alright, so the next one down is the hesitation, which is just to move R toward the ball hand and then release. So when you're dribbling here, let's get him dribbling. You can see that the ball is in the left hand. If I push the stick to the right, he's going to change hands. Back to the left, he's going to change hands. And if I move the right stick towards the ball hand, so in this case to the left, then he's going to do a hesitation move. I notice the CPU does the hesitation move a lot when they play, because they're trying to get you just to give them some space or just make a slight movement so they can drive right by you. So the CPU is pretty good with the hesitation move, but I'm not as good as the CPU doing it. So from a standing dribble, just hesitation move. Switch hands. Alright. And so this is really just to get used to doing the controls, and each time you practice, if you come in and kind of work on them, you'll learn more about how to get more comfortable with them. So here's the hesitation escape, R2, and move towards the ball hand and then let go. So there's a few guys I played that one skill that they've really got is they have the ability to escape and then get their shot. And it seems to me that provides them a better shot opportunity. So depending on who the player is, so here, it kind of moves you to the side. There's one guy in my league in particular that he does a good job with the escape. And it's funny when he escapes, like if you watch Sloan escape, he moves he moved a pretty good distance there. But it seems like his guy just goes so far away, it's crazy. But as a defender, when you're getting low on the shot clock, if you pull up an hesitation escape, it might provide you the space you need to get the shot off with the defense trying to block you. They might fall for it. Okay, so that's the hesitation escape. And it's just a matter of going in and going through each of these moves. So you can see we moved through several of them already. And so here's just the crossover. And the crossover is pretty simple. From a standing dribble, you just move from the ball hand to the opposite side. You can can see if you can do it with some speed, you can actually do it faster. So if you're driving, then you cross over. And so after a while, when you become more comfortable with it, you'll do a hesitation and then a crossover. So you'll start to learn how to chain these moves together so that you become smoother at it. And again, I'm kind of a rookie at ISO motion, even though I'm kind of a veteran at the game. Improving my ISO motion skills could probably really help me in this season. Alright, so that's a pretty basic move. We've got the behind the back. Oh, we have the between the legs cross, which is to move R between the offhand and the player's back and then quickly release. So here, if you just push back on the stick, he'll take it behind the back. But if you push the stick from the offhand to the player's back, he'll move it between the leg. So offhand and kind of, oops, I actually took the shot. So offhand, alright, so you can see there how that works. So the ball is in the left hand, the offhand is in the right. So if I move the stick from the neutral position to, let's put it back in that hand, towards its back, so between the, from the ball hand, let's see here, let's double check this move here. Actually, it works a little bit better from the ball hand. You can see me dribbling between my leg here. So from the ball hand to the direction, halfway between the opposite side. So you can see towards his back, but not straight back. So you can chain these together, and you can see I'm already getting better at it than I was when I first started. Okay, so that's some work with the between the legs cross. So let's see what the next one is here. So the crossover escape, R2 toward offhand, then quickly release. So this is pretty much like the hesitation. So towards the offhand, and it's used just to create you some space. So you'd be dribbling, R2 to the offhand, escape, and shot. So this is something I'll need to work on because I'm not very good at them. And see who can do them smoothly and who can't. Oops. Controls. Alright, so behind the back is just quickly away. So that's pretty easy. That's a little bit better, easier to do than the between the legs cross was to start with. So it's just the opposite of a size up. So it's another way to size up your defender. And so that's a pretty easy one to do. So you could do the size up behind the back and between the legs cross. Chain them all together. And then put some nice moves together. Alright, so the step back is R2 and away R away from the hoop and then quickly release. So this is another move to learn to create space. So R2, push away, take the shot. So with Sloan here, that was nice little, because he did it from without dribbling. So it's kind of nice. I can pull off a shot like that. Okay, so the spin move, rotate R from the ball hand around the player's back and then quickly return to neutral. So played a guy the other day in my league. He would come through here and then he would do a spin move. And as a shot blocker with Hibbert, you know, I'm coming in here going, oh, I'm ready, and then he does the spin move. So it was kind of nice because for him, because he was able to kind of surprise me with the spin move. Not as many people I play use the spin move as used to be kind of a LeBron trademark, so maybe a quick match is still that way. Obviously you can spin different ways. And the half spin, quarter circle from the ball, hand to hoop, then quickly return to neutral. Alright, so from the ball hand towards the hoop. And that might be a way to create some space. See if I do it. You can do it from a triple threat position. But that's how you do the half spin. Okay, so these are some triple threats. The triple threat jab, left, right, or forward, and then release while in triple threat. So the ball up off the floor there. So this is the triple threat position, which means that you can pass, you can shoot, or you can drive from this spot. So you can see without touching anything, Sloan kind of does a mini version of jabbing. But if I move forward on the stick, it'll move him, make a much, well, he's not really doing it. There we go. A much firmer jab. So if I move straight up on the stick, I move to the left, I move to the right. So to the right is more to this. It's funny how my stick doesn't seem to want to work out here. So oops, I'm just trying to fake. Alright, so he's in triple threat, so straight, ahead, left, right. So for some reason that spot, my controller didn't want to respond, which I don't know if any of you guys had this problem or not, but my controller has tended to not work in this area here. I'll try and go up for a shot, and it just won't do anything, so it's hilarious. Alright, so that's the triple threat jab. And then down here towards the bottom, we got the triple threat step back. And we kind of did that one already. So this would be a good one if I'm in this kind of spot right here. Can pull up, create some space for a shot. So there's a situation where it isn't working. Probably because of he's not ready to. When you pick up the dribble, sometimes it's still in things you don't want to travel. So, and then the last control is the triple threat spin out. CPU will use this quite a bit. And all right, so okay. So what you're going to want to do is, once you get comfortable with the controls, the dribbling controls are under ISO motion, is you'll just want to kind of work on each one of them with your dribblers. You know, I wouldn't want to do this with Hibbert, but with Sloan, you know, I'm going to want to work on sizing up, crossing over, sizing up, hesitations. And as you get familiar with, you know, obviously Sloan isn't an elite dribbler, but there'll be things he can do that will help me trying to get the defense off balance. And most of the ISO motion is just kind of getting used to doing them. I think some of the most valuable ones will be, you know, from the escape, hesitation escape. So like what the CPU a lot of times will do is it'll escape on you and then create the space it needs. Okay, so after you work on your shooting, you're going to want to work on dribbling and getting used to how to create space off the dribble. And the better point guard you got that can do that kind of stuff, you're going to be at a huge advantage than someone who doesn't. You know, because Sloan, while he's a good point guard, he can play. He's not an elite point guard like a Chris Paul, who's going to be able to pull a lot of these moves off and make people, you know, really. He's not an ankle breaker kind of guy. So what I want to do is, you know, looking at my roster here, Sloan and Hill and Stuckey and CJ, those are the guys that I'm going to want to put through those paces and just get used to doing the controls. So like CJ here, he's not starting yet, but you know, let's put him out there and do some moves with him. So his hesitation is a little bit different than Sloan's was. So the idea is just to get comfortable handling the ball with each of your guys that's their role on the team, is to be the ball handler. So that's typically going to be your point guard, but if you've got a really good two guard that can dribble, you know, that's going to be important too. So for my season, you know, looking at my roster, the guys I'm going to want to work on dribbling with are Watson, Hill, Stuckey, and Sloan. And since right now Watson and Hill are hurt in my season, primarily I'm going to want to work with Stuckey and Sloan. So we can have a look at Stuckey's size up here. Pretty much like CJ's to some degree. Oh, that is CJ, so that's why it is. Where he is, Stuckey, there he is. Alright, so let's see what Stuckey's got. It's pretty similar. So with each of these guys throughout the season, I'm going to start working on their ISO motion skills and see if I can improve beating the CPU off the dribble at times, or just creating space to get jumpers. So you know, I guess the way I look at the ISO motion is that I'm not going to become a superstar dribbler, first of all because my guys aren't superstars, but I am going to learn how to become a better dribbler, to learn how to create space and set people up. So anyway, that's what we'll be working on throughout the season with these guys. If you want to follow me on Twitter, you can do that at Coach2K. My website's coach2k.com, where I'll be posting details of my season. And you can also watch the games that I broadcast them live on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Coach2K. And I'll be archiving this material on YouTube too. So all this information is at coach2k.com. It's the kind of the hub where you can find everything. And if you want to play me, I always enjoy playing everybody I run across at least once. My PSN is www-coach2k.com. Feel free to friend me and let me know you want to play if you ever want to do that. And keep tabs on my season. So until then, I'll see you on the court.